So we're still working on solving equations. What is it that I need to solve in this equation? I'm solving for C. And we have our left side of the equation and we have our right side of the equation. On the left side of the equation, we have 4 times C plus 7 divided by 5. What's the first thing you need to get rid of? There's a fraction, which means divided by 5. Before you take anything away from the numerator, you have to get rid of that fraction. So what's the opposite of divided by 5? We want to get rid of this divided by 5. If I multiply everything here by 5, I'm just left with 4C plus 7. Doesn't that make that way easier to solve?
5 times 4C plus 7.
What did I forget to do on the right side? Times it by 5. What's 3 times 5? Now is this way easier to solve? Simple? Like what we did yesterday? I have 4 times C plus 7. What's the opposite of plus 7? Take away 7. Again, we're doing that because I want to get rid of this. If I take away the 7, I'm left with just the 4C, and I'm slowly getting closer to isolating my variable. But if I took away 7 from the left side, what do I have to do to the right side? Take away 7. What's 15? Take away 7. Okay, so last step. 4 multiplied by C. The opposite of multiplication is division. We're trying to get C by itself. So what do I have to do to the right side? Same thing, divide by 4. And I got C alone, which is what I was trying to do. Let's just simplify it now. What's 8 divided by 4? That's it. That's your answer. So one way you could do this is you can either get rid of the fraction. How would you get rid of the fraction? What's the opposite of divided by 2? Multiply by 2. This is one way you could do this. I can multiply this by 2 to get rid of the fraction, but what do you have to do to every single term? You can't just multiply that by 2. You have to multiply everything by 2.
So you just take away that first, then you...
Yeah, this is one way you could do it. So it would be 3x, take away, what's 2 times 8? Equals? To get rid of the negative 16, we add 16. So we're left with 3x equals 2 plus 16 equals what?
18.
And now what's the last step? Divide both sides by 3. That cancels out. We're left with x equals 18 divided by 3.
6.
Raise your hand if you got x equals 6. So in this question, you have an m variable. You have a variable on the left side, and you have a variable on the right side. The first thing you need to do is you need to group your like terms. Put all the variables on the left side. So what number can I put in front of this negative m? What number can I put there? Let's put a 1 there, just so you know it's a negative 1m. And I have a positive 2m. So I want to put all my variables on the left side. So I'm going to keep the 2m on the left side. But what do I need to do to get rid of this negative 1m from the right side? How do I get rid of it? What's the opposite of negative 1? Positive 1. That gets rid of it from the right side. So what do I have to do on the left side? Positive 1m. Does everyone understand what I just did right there? Okay. Equals, I already have this 4 on the right side, but I need to get rid of this plus 7 from the left side. I need to bring it to the right side. What's the opposite of plus 7? Minus 7. Does everyone understand what I've done here? Group your like terms. Put all, I like to keep my variable terms on the left side, and then my constant, they're called constant terms, on the right side. Okay, so group it, and then what? So we group the terms, and then what do we do with them? Starts with an S. Simplify it. Put them together. What's 2m plus 1m? 3m. What's 4 take away 7? Negative 3. Can you solve now for m? What's the last step, Jeno? Divide by That cancels out. M equals -1. You have your two sides to the equation. The only time you change the sign is when it's going to the other side of the equation. So I have a 1x and I have a -6x already on the left side. That stays there. That stays there. Okay? But I have a -2x on the right side. If I'm getting rid of it and putting it on the left side, what's the opposite of -2x? It becomes +2x. Okay, you only change the sign when it changes sides of the equation. So is it going to say +17 or -17? Why negative? I haven't moved it. It stays on the right side. That 17 is just there. I didn't do anything to that. But I have to get rid of this +5. So it becomes -5. So that's the one that I changed. So these stayed the same. +1, -6. Those were already on the left side. And on the right side I had a negative. That became a positive. My 17 stayed. But the +5 became -5. That's the hardest part. Once you set it up, just simplify it now. What is 1 take away 6 plus 2? 1 take away 6 plus 2. -3x. 12. So what do I have to divide both sides by? -3. X is equal to -4. Hold on. Whenever you have a bracket, we have to use distributive property. You have to multiply whatever's outside the bracket by everything inside the bracket. Do you remember this from grade 9? So what's 3 times A? What's 3 times -1? -3. All of that divided by 4 is equal to 6. What can we do here? We just did it over there. Okay, one way to do it. Opposite of divided by 4, multiply that by 4 to get rid of the fraction. So what do I have to do to the right side?
Same thing.
Multiply by 4. So I'm left with 3a minus 3, right? I've gotten rid of this. Equals, what's 6 times 4?
24.
Okay, 3a minus 3 equals 24. I want to get rid of this minus 3. What's the opposite of take away 3? So what do I have to do to the right side? Plus 3. That's gone. What am I left with? Equals 24 plus 3. What's 24 plus 3? Good. How do I solve for a? Divide by 3. Good. Divide this by 3. Divide this by 3. That's gone. A is equal to 27 divided by 3 is